Don't make us watch you become this disgusting, pathetic puddle, this sort of gelatinous, boneless, spineless monstrosity. Don't make us watch it. The Sun reports the Howard Stern show on SiriusXM is set to be canceled after a stunning 20-year run. Sources exclusively told the U.S. Sun. Stern, who's 71 years old, has had a megabucks contract for decades. The subscription satellite radio provider will likely cut some sort of deal for Sirius to keep his catalog upon his exit, but the reports are saying that the contract will be canceled, and so that'll be the end of an era for a guy who's been on the radio for 40 plus years. Now Stern is getting paid $100 million a year, I think, still something crazy like that. Obviously, that gravy train could not keep chugging along forever, especially because nobody listens to radio anymore. I guess some people do, but who's turning on Sirius radio? I mean, when you've got podcasts and you can just turn on podcasts whenever you want, turn it off whenever you want, check back in on it. You can't compete with that. You can't compete with the convenience of it. More to the point, Howard Stern, as everyone has noticed, is a shell of his former self. He joins a long list of these guys, all from the same generation, who used to be kind of countercultural and edgy and funny and provocative. And I was never a big Howard Stern fan. I never really listened to his show. He's always been a degenerate creep. He's still that. But now it's the worst of all worlds. He's still a degenerate creepy old man, but not even like provocative or edgy anymore. So he's got it all. He's a degenerate creep who's also soft milquetoast, this castrated eunuch. And that's what's happened to a lot of pretty much all of these guys in this generation. And I was thinking about this today. And I was really, and this is maybe, so think about this and let me know if you can think of some names. So let's make it clean. Say 2005. Almost every person who was funny in the year 2005 and is still alive is now completely lame and unfunny. Can you name someone who was really funny in the year 2005 and is still alive and still funny? Because I'm going down the list in my head and I can't think of almost anyone. I mean, Louis C.K., but he really wasn't widely known in 2005, so he probably doesn't count. But he's one of the very, very few comedic voices that's been around for a long time, hasn't lost his edge. If anything, he's gained more, he's edgier now than he used to be. So, but I don't know that you really count him. Some people would say Chappelle, but I think most of Chappelle's new stuff just isn't that funny. I mean, I agree with him on the trans stuff, but the material isn't funny. It doesn't hold a candle to Chappelle's stand-up from like 2004, 2005, that's for sure. So I don't know if you could say him. Ricky Gervais, maybe. He definitely hasn't gone woke or anything, I wouldn't say. But I don't know. I mean, I love Ricky Gervais's work. He's the creator of what I think may be, for my money, the two funniest shows ever made in the British Office and Extras on HBO. And that might be maybe my favorite comedy of all time. And I love both of those shows. But I don't think he's made a really hilarious show in a while. A couple of months ago, Vandy Crisp started advertising on the show, and this chip was so good, it made me pay closer attention to the seed oil debate, which I've not paid attention to at all. Our YouTube feeds are full of videos of people telling us how bad seed oils are, and it's in almost all the chips, along with a bunch of other stuff that I can't pronounce, because I can't pronounce anything. So most of the time, you're not getting a chip. It's a chip-like substance made from a chemical cocktail. But Vandy chips, which I hold now in my hand, are just chips. Real, honest-to-God potato chips made the way they used to be made, the way God intended, before the food industry got hijacked by scientists feeding us their latest experiment. Heirloom potatoes, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. If you look at the ingredients on the back, that's all you see. That's it. There's not a long list of unpronounceable weird things. It's just that. That's the whole ingredient list. And the tallow isn't some gimmick. It's what chips were cooked in for decades, and there's a reason for that. Vandy didn't reinvent the wheel. They just went back to the version that worked before we let corporations turn us into guinea pigs. Look, you shouldn't have to feel anxious about a snack. You shouldn't have to cross-check labels like you're scanning for radiation. What you want is something that tastes amazing, doesn't wreck your body, and is safe to hand to your kids without wondering what it's doing to their hormones or anything else. That's Vandy. If you're ready to give Vandy a try, you should be. They are by far the best potato chip I've ever had in my life. That's real. Take that to the bank. Go to vandycrisps.com/Walsh and use code Walsh for 25% off your first order. That's vandycrisps.com/Walsh. Code Walsh for 25% off your first order. It's certainly nothing that competes with that era from like 2001 to 2010. But aside from those guys who are the only possible contenders for having been funny in 2005 and still funny today, 20 years later, outside of them, there's just no one. I mean, think about any comedian, comedic actor, radio host, media personality, anyone who was funny or edgy 20 to 25 years ago, and they all suck now. I mean, they're all lame and bad, and most of them are uber woke. So Howard Stern has a lot of company. Bill Burr is an obvious other example. Even when you think about the actors and filmmakers, Will Ferrell, Seth Rogen, Judd Apatow, I mean, all those guys. When's the last time any of them did anything that was funny? Hate to say it, but even like the South Park, I mean, certainly Family Guy, The Simpsons hasn't been funny in like 30 years. Family Guy, I think to the extent that it was ever funny, it fell off a long time ago. South Park too. Like, I don't really watch the show anymore. And I'm not just saying this because, they made fun of Trump. I couldn't care less about that at all. But I see these clips. I don't really sit down and watch the show anymore these days because I'm, an adult. But when I see these clips circulating, and this has been for years now, of South Park, and people are saying, South Park still got it. And I watch the clips and I go, no, they don't. They've lost a lot of the edge. This is not what it used to be. So I don't know why has that happened? I mean, what's going on here? Well, part of it is the political and social pressure for sure. These are people who want to be accepted in the mainstream. Howard Stern in particular started hanging out with A-list celebrities in his private life and decided that he didn't want to do anything or say anything that would jeopardize those friendships. I think it's probably the story with all these people who used to be. Bill Burr, is another one. Started hanging out with rich people and started doing all the TV shows and going to the Emmys, and then you just don't want to upset these people that you are really friends with, right? When you're at a spot where you can, I don't know, call up George Clooney and say, "Hey George, what's going on?" You don't want to jeopardize that. And also, look, when you become obscenely rich and you reach a point of total creative freedom where nobody can say no to you, and that's when, in many cases, you start to fall off. You get too comfortable. You get soft. There's no tension. I think creative genius, particularly comedic genius, comes from tension, from this like friction, frustration, a little bit of that. You have to have some of that, some of that hunger that comes from that, and but they don't have it anymore. They're not trying to prove anything to anyone, and that's death right there. Creatively, that's death. Nothing to prove, everything to lose. Fat, comfortable, rich. Who can stay funny and edgy in a situation like that? It turns out that that it's very difficult to. Which is why I wish that some of these guys, to include Howard Stern, would just go away. Just go. You can leave. You've made all the money. You made enough money that you would take you 1,000 lifetimes to spend it. You've accomplished everything you're going to accomplish. Just go away. Just leave. You don't have to stay on camera deteriorating in front of us, right? Don't make us watch this. If you're a creative genius, especially someone who's funny, you hit your peak, and once you lose it, you're losing it. You're losing it. You know it's not like it used to be. You don't have the edge anymore. You don't have the spark. You don't even have you don't want to cause problems. You don't want the controversy. You don't want any of that anymore. You just want to be comfortable. When that happens, I get it. Just leave. Don't make us watch. Don't make us watch you become this disgusting, pathetic puddle, this sort of gelatinous, boneless, spineless monstrosity Don't make us watch it. Go away. Go away. Live the rest of your life. You know, leave us with the good old days. That would be my request. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.